Hi, teachers. Good afternoon. I'm Bruno Buquerque, one of the partners here in ELT in Brazil. This is my friend and partner and colleague, Walter Curti. And today we're here to delve into Delta Module 1 a bit. There are 5 tasks in Delta Module 1, Paper 1. And today we're going to talk about 2 of them, the first 2, Task 1 and Task 2 of Paper 1. How good are you at memorizing ELT jargon and being able to define these tricky words? This is what we're going to find out in today's video. Roda a vinheta, até já.
All right. Well, just to remind you once again, I think it's important. Bruno and myself, we are not Delta tutors. This is not a prep course for Delta. If anything, this is just a way for you to know what you might be getting, into, right? So you know the tests, you know the tasks and how they work. So this is the purpose of these Delta diaries, as we call them.
Yeah,
Bruno,
it's
can
a
I
Delta.
share?
Sure, it's a Delta reconnaissance, right? It's just look at it. This is what you'll find. Yep.
And here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's there.
Yeah.
Am I ready for Delta?
Yeah, we talked about that in the last video, and now we move on to Delta Module 1, Task 1, Paper 1. I should tell you that you have 2 papers. Paper 1 has 5 tasks, and when you take a prep course, they will tell you how long you should take at each of these tasks. I don't really remember, but I think you shouldn't take more than 6 to 7 minutes in task 1. Really. And mind you, task 2 is the concept of them is basically they're testing the same knowledge, but the task is different. So what you have to do is different. So you will take longer in task 2 than you take in task 1. I also have to say that task 1, it depends on the person, but I think it's not the easiest one. It might be the 3rd or 4th easier task, as long as you know the things that are being tested. But it's a little bit of a lottery ticket here. Would you agree, Bruno?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because
and I think,
or you don't.
Yeah, and that's it. Can we show the test so that people know what we're talking about?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the exercise is going to give you 6 different definitions, just as you see them here. What you have to do is, in the answer sheet, you can also answer in the paper, but you have to transfer them to the answer sheet, just what they are defining. What is that definition of? So verbs that link an adjective or a noun to a subject, to the subject of a sentence. What kind of verb is that? And then you just write that, nothing else. Don't give examples. That's what it's asking, right? Bruno, do you remember this first one?
I would say it's a linking verb.
It's a linking verb. It's I think no, I don't think. I am sure that they would accept both answers. Copular verbs or linking verbs. They are the same thing. So the thing is, I think when you're taking the prep course, your brain is just so tuned. And so, you keep doing that, and you're reading and taking notes on definitions and how to define things all the time. So you just, you look at those definitions and you're like, seriously, I think I took 3 minutes in the test doing this one.
Yeah. And I don't think you should take longer than that, because if you read the definition and a word, a jargon doesn't come to mind, just skip it. Because chances are it's not gonna come. And if I'm not mistaken, this task is worth 1 mark for each question, right? So the whole Delta is, again, this is from the perspective of a student, right? So there might be mistakes here and there, but if I'm not mistaken, the whole test is worth 200 points, and you
100
need
in
a
paper
100
one,
point and 100 for paper 2,
100
right?
in
And you
paper
need
two.
at least 100 points to pass, if I'm not mistaken. And
Exactly.
this one is worth 6 marks. So if you read a
Exactly.
definition and you don't know, just skip it. From my point of
So-
view, this is a warm-up for Delta, right? This is this
Yeah.
exercise is there just to get you started.
Yeah, I am gonna say something. It might come across a little geeky, but it's my favorite exercise.
Yes, it does come across very geeky.
It's like doing, crosswords, man. It's fun.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
know. It's fun. It's
Mhm.
well, it's annoying if you don't know that, but it's almost there, right? Number two, a type of reconstruction activity based on natural speed dictation of a text, and it's an activity that we actually used in the last course, in the previous course, right? That we had.
Mhm.
Uh,
Dictogloss.
yes, the gloss.
Mhm.
And well, you see dictation there, that could help you, right?
Mhm.
Number three, the study of all aspects of discourse within specific spoken or written. Written is misspelled, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Didn't see an I missing. Yeah.
Genres, right? So that's a genre, the study, genre approach, genre analysis.
Genre analysis. Yes, Bruno, genre analysis. Yeah. There is also a definition for genre, right? And yes, and believe me, you will learn that as you take your prep course. There will be a lot on genre. You study a lot on that. The theory, which claims that every speaker of a language knows a set of principles which apply to all languages, and also a set of parameters that can vary from a language to another, but only within limits.
That's universal grammar, right?
Universal grammar. And then you're just like, Chomsky, and then
Yeah.
maybe you will remember that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and then you write Chomsky's shtick, right? In the answer, in the answer sheet.
But I think when I was studying, like, maybe you don't remember the word universal. It's almost there, but it was like, it's something grammar, but you can't get the, it's just it's a lot to process anyway. Number five, the attitudinal meaning of a word, which may be culturally determined, such as words that may carry positive or negative meaning. Not to confuse it for another one that is similar, but it's two things, right? So one has to do with just think, it changes meaning because of cultural elements. So it means this here, it means that in somewhere else, right? The other one you might be thinking is the actual meaning of a word, the dictionary meaning. The dictionary meaning is denotation, right? And this one is, Bruno?
Connotation.
Thank you. Connotation is the one. And then a word or a phrase which refers back to another phrase or word which is used earlier in a text. So, for example, I know for example, I bought a phone last week. It's really bad. It is referring back to the phone. So what kind of reference is that? We know it's a type of reference, but then you have cataphoric, anaphoric. There's one more.
Exophoric.
Exophoric reference. And this one, Bruno?
Anaphoric.
Going
that
back,
comes
anaphoric.
antes, right?
Yes.
This
I
is task
prepared
one.
and the thing is, the more you do it, the better you get. And I want you to take a look at the choice of things that were used in this test. So you have lexical, you have a little bit with dictogloss activity types in there, genre analysis, which is about genre anyway. We have universal grammar, which is already linked with approaches and that kind of thing.
Mm.
Then you have connotation, which is again lexical. Then you have an anaphoric reference, which is part of the verb phrase, if I'm not mistaken. But you have to know things that are about all of these stuff, right? So it's all under the same umbrella, and it's a lot to remember. And if you want to, if you want some help with that, but like, oh yeah, what is that? Then I do have something you may use. If you scan this QR code, you're going to go to a website called Quizlet, and there is one there that is ready. A teacher left one there.
Flashcards.
Yes, flashcards. You just click and they flip with the definition or the name. And then, yeah, that is wonderful. It just helps you memorize how to do this stuff. It's very, very helpful. Yes, Bruno, want to take over for task 2?
Yeah. Task 2 is the other way around. I don't think there's much to be said there. So for task 1, you get the definition and you have to write the jargon, the word, the phrase that it refers to. And in task 2, you do the opposite. You're given a jargon, a phrase about, it's usually meta language, right? And then you're supposed to, it's the first one, right?
It's the first one, actually.
Yeah, so you're supposed to provide a definition, but then this one, you're supposed to provide the definition and examples. Right, so
always an example. Yeah.
Walter, meta language.
Okay, well, meta language, the language used to describe, analyze, explain language, such as grammatical terms, rules, or syntax. For example, present perfect. That's a very short definition, straight to the point. And by the way, Bruno, there's a great book that will help them with that.
A to Z of ELT.
Yes, absolutely. It's A to Z
of ELT.
In ELT, is that?
I think it's A to Z of ELT, if I'm not mistaken.
Of ELT. Well, but it's by Thornbury, right?
Yeah.
Scott
An A
Thornbury.
to Z of ELT, Scott Thornbury.
Yeah. N A to Z.
N A to Z of ELT. Yes, it's a dictionary of ELT jargon.
It's yeah, that is not gonna be fun reading.
Oh, it's actually fun. Scott Thornbury is quite a good writer.
Absolutely. There is another one. There is another dictionary just like that. I can't recall it right now. And when you look at both, you have two different perspectives. But yes, you're right. Thornbury does manage to make it fun, considering that you're reading a dictionary.
Yes.
Right. Sure. Yeah. So yeah, it's the best way I can put it. Many of the books, there's a lot of heavy reading, and some of them are just dense. Some are very practical, but yeah, it's the volume. It's how much you have to read. So yeah, about that. Register, and the language appropriate to particular types of situations. Not to confuse it for, Bruno, do you remember?
Style.
Yes.
Style.
A lot of people confuse register for style. They think that register is the same as like, it's how formal you should write. That's actually part of the style. I'm sorry about my handwriting, by the way. Mind you, my computer have the screen like this anyway. But the thing is, register is about appropriacy for these particular types. So, for example, regards used in formal and semi-formal emails, for example. Yes, and then subject, and here's one thing. Sometimes you know exactly what it is, but it's still difficult to write as, remember, it's like you're writing a definition for a dictionary. It's not going to be very long and you need an example. That's
Yeah,
what it
that
is,
was
right?
the trickiest part for me. Usually
Mhm.
coming up with the definition is easier than coming up with an example, right? Because for example, we know what subjective marking is. Is the opposite of objective marking when you have
Mhm.
an answer key, and then you check students' answers in the answer key. That's
Mhm.
subjective. Subjective is the other one when you need
Subjective
criteria
is,
and etc.
yeah, subjective is going to depend on somebody's opinion, the marker's
Yeah.
opinion, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe there is a criteria, but it's left to interpretation.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's not some.
And then
Mhm.
think about an example of subjective marking is usually a bit more difficult.
I left one there, which is writing tests. I
Mhm.
think it's a great example. Every time you have a writing test, you're gonna be like, you have, oh, okay, so it's meeting criteria for language
Mhm.
use, for
Mhm.
register, for style, for is it achieving the task. So you have task achievement, those things, and you have a description of those. So that is completely subjective. I don't remember if in the test, I think in the test you have to define four. I
Oh, I
don't
don't
remember,
remember.
but this is not a prep course, so
Mhm.
it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, what I was gonna say, Bruno, and this is, I think I've talked to you about this. I think I've told you. Uh, I did not answer test two in my Delta.
Really?
I
Lack of.
didn't. I didn't have time.
Oh, gee.
So the prep course kind of, it's always, if you, I hope you get a very good one, but I had a wonderful prep course. I spent like about 4 months preparing, and it just gets you, it gets you going, and you they tell you, oh, okay, you should start by task 5 or 1 and then task 5. You will see task 5. It's
Mhm.
long and it takes forever, right?
Mhm.
So I did 1, 5, 4, 3, 2. When I got to 2, there was no time
Mhm.
because of task 5. Task 5
Yeah.
is just like, I took a long time. So if you were like, oh, okay, so this thing is like, it's just like what Bruno said, it's a warm up or it's not worth as many marks. For you to pass Delta, you need 100 marks out of the 200 in both papers.
Mhm.
100 marks. So, okay, I didn't score anything in task 2, paper 1, and I passed.
Mhm.
Right, but again, it's time management. When you're just like, I wanted to do it again so I could do it, because I when I looked at them, I knew the definition, I just couldn't do it. I didn't have time.
Mhm.
No time.
Yeah. This is
Yep.
one thing about exams. I never change the order of tasks. I like
You
doing
like
them
going.
by the book. One, two, three. I know I'm allowed to spend on each task.
Mhm.
So if my time is up, I move on, right?
Mhm.
But there's always a clock in
Yeah,
the exam
yes.
room, so you can
Mhm.
keep track of your time. But I like taking task one and then task two and task three because I'm not an expert in assessment, but
Mhm.
I believe that the people who are, they build exams in that order for a specific reason. You
Mhm.
know, that for example, task one is the easiest one, the quickest one to do. So I don't know, maybe you build confidence in the task taker so that,
Mhm.
and then you activate a bit of a schemata for activity two, which is clearly a bit more challenging
Mhm.
than one. And then there's three, and then there's four. So I feel that there is a rationale there. But I mean,
I see.
whatever
Mhm.
floats your boat, the
Well,
strategy that works for you.
To me was I'm very sequential, like yourself. Just I like doing. I don't like changing order of tests, just like you, Bruno. But I tried it with different mocks, and it did improve my timing. Maybe if I hadn't done that in the day of the test, I might have screwed up task 5, and task 5 is worth 50 marks. So yeah, maybe I don't know. It's just like, because task 5 is so important. I would be afraid of screwing that up, and so you got to bear those things in mind. But the thing is, when you take a prep course, you will talk to your tutor about these things, and they will help you. I had 2 tutors telling me that I should change the order. And I think International House was actually responsible for writing that the handbook, or they were involved. I might be wrong.
I don't know.
But there's something there. So I really trusted them. I really trusted them. Yes.
I mean, it's a matter of seeing what works for you, right? So you tried it in different mocks, the different strategies, and it improved your timing. So why not?
Okay. Right? I have a surprise for you and for myself. Okay.
A surprise for me right now?
Yes, for both of us. I have a surprise. This is a pop quiz for module 1. I got some definitions. We don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. Bruno doesn't know the answer. I'm gonna read those definitions and let's see how much we can remember. Would you be down for it?
Yes, let's go.
You wanna try? Yeah. Okay. 1 second, and let me share. This is fun.
If we screw up, we just edit this part out, right?
Yeah, I'll do it. Bruno.
Testing concepts. Okay, so we're talking about exam assessing. Right?
Yeah, mostly. Well, a test which tests a course content only and is given at the end of a course.
Okay, so it's a test. So it is a summative assessment, but I don't think it's a summative test.
I would say summative.
I think it's like an achievement test. I think it's an achievement test.
I would,
because it's asking for the test and not, because formative and assessment is not a quality of the tool itself, but what purpose you use it for, right? So the purpose here is summative, right? But it can be a summative project, for example.
An achievement test then. An achievement test.
It's an achievement test. Yeah. Do you have the answers?
All right. I do. If I scroll, scroll it down, we'll see. Do you want to see it? Okay, I'm gonna go very slowly because I don't want to see. Oh, by the way, this is something I did when I was studying for Delta Module 1. So if there are mistakes there, they will be corrected. But you will see the ones that I made a mistake with, right?
Summative achievement end of the year test. Okay. So it's all
accepted all of them. It accepted any of them would have been a correct answer. I accidentally reviewed answer for number 2, which is
I didn't see it.
Yes, you didn't see it. Oh,
no,
great!
I
saw it. I'm sorry. I saw it. Appears to test takers to test what it's supposed to test, not a scientific concept. It comes from psychology, actually. Bruno, it's this. This test might not even be a good test, but for the test taker, it seems valid.
So it's face validity.
Yes, face validity. Yes, face validity. Yes. A test which tests what it's supposed to test and nothing else. Does not test incidental cultural knowledge. So
I think it's content validity.
Absolutely. It has to be. No. No, there's another one. Wait,
There's construct validity as well, but I don't
I'm gonna
think
go
it
with
is.
I'm gonna go with construct validity. I'm gonna go with construct. I might be wrong.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with construct.
Can we check? Can we check? Can we check?
Okay, slowly,
Three.
slowly. This and it's so
It's on
painful.
the other
isn't it?
page.
Oh, it is.
One,
It is
two,
construct.
construct. Yeah, you're right.
Construct. Construct.
4.
4. The effects a test has on the course leading up to it. The effects a test has. Oh, this is
okay. This is backwash.
Backwash, wash back.
Effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bruno, this is it. I think it's enough for this video, just so people get an idea, right? Like you have an idea of how does it feel when you're studying this stuff. And yes, yeah, I hope it was helpful. And
it was a lot of fun. I loved the activity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna like this one, the pop quiz.
God, we're geeks. Jesus.
Yeah, we're kids. Yes. Well, everyone, this I think we have a wrap, Bruno. Yeah.
We did it.
Yes. Well, for you at home, please leave us a comment. Tell us what do you think. Maybe you had fun with the ones that we made mistakes with. Remember, no one ever knows everything, so it's very difficult that you're gonna get all of this. You hardly get all of these answers correct, right? But yeah, leave us a comment. Give us a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Yes.
And then next video we're going to look at task 3 and then task 4 and then task 5. The whole
task 3. Yes.
In the
yes.
videos. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
all right.
you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
See you.
See you.